In the modern world, the stages for our great moral dramas are no longer confined to the hallowed halls of a theater or the silver screens of Hollywood. They are everywhere, lurking in the mundane corners of everyday life, a grocery store aisle, a public park, and, as we recently discovered with breathtaking clarity, a sun-drenched baseball stadium in Miami. A simple, fleeting moment captured by the ever-present eye of a smartphone or a broadcast camera can instantly and irrevocably transform ordinary people into unwitting actors in a global play. In this new theater, the entire internet serves as the audience, the passionate Greek chorus, the investigative journalist, the judge, and the jury. The story of the woman who took a home run ball from a child is not just another viral clip. It is a perfect and deeply fascinating case study of a modern morality play, a spontaneous real-life drama where we, the public, collectively and almost instantaneously cast our heroes, our villains, and then, with terrifying efficiency, decide their fates. Tonight, we are going to deconstruct this uniquely 21st century play, act by brutal and revealing act. We will analyze the inciting incident and explore the precise psychological triggers that caused a woman in a Phillies jersey to be instantly and unanimously cast in the role of the villain. We'll explore the casting of the innocent victim, a 10-year-old boy named Lincoln, and the complex, relatable role of the conflicted hero, his father, Drew. We will then dive headfirst into the chaotic third act, where the internet itself becomes a central character, a digital mob that investigates, judges, and condemns with a speed and ferocity that is truly unprecedented. Finally, we'll look at the strange and almost surreal intervention of corporate gods, who descend from on high to lavishly reward the righteous and offer a twisted, commodified path to redemption for the wicked. This is the complete anatomy of a 21st century witch hunt and a revealing story about our collective and often terrifying thirst for public justice. Every great play begins with a powerful, inciting incident, a single moment that shatters the ordinary and sets the dramatic conflict into motion. On this particular evening in Miami, the scene was one of idyllic, almost cliché American nostalgia. The sharp, iconic crack of the bat, the rising roar of the crowd, a father and son sharing a quintessential bonding moment at a baseball game. Philadelphia Phillies outfielder Harrison Bader hit a home run, and the ball, a coveted piece of leather-bound history, ricocheted off a seat and came to rest in the stands. Drew Feltwell, the father, in a moment of paternal grace, cleanly snagged it. Without a moment's hesitation, and with a smile beaming across his face, he placed it directly into the waiting glove of his 10-year-old son, Lincoln. For a fleeting, perfect second, the scene was a Norman Rockwell painting come to life, a core memory being created. Then, with the jarring abruptness of a record scratch, the villain entered stage left. A woman, also in Phillies gear, stormed into their row, her body language radiating pure confrontation. Her finger jabbed aggressively toward the empty seats where the ball had landed, and her voice cut sharply through the stadium noise with four simple, narrative-defining words: "That's my ball." In that single public moment, the play was irrevocably cast. The woman was no longer just a fan wanting a souvenir. She instantly and permanently became the antagonist. Her transgression was not against the written rules of baseball, but against a much deeper, more sacred, and universally understood unwritten social contract. You do not, under any circumstances, take something precious from a child, especially not a moment of pure joy. Her confrontational posture, her outright refusal to reason with the father, and her unwavering, almost shocking sense of entitlement provided the global audience with all the evidence they would ever need. The reaction from the immediate audience, the fans in the surrounding section who witnessed the event firsthand, was visceral, instantaneous, and damning. They booed her, not just a few scattered jeers, but a loud, sustained, and unified chorus of disapproval. This was the first judgment, the on site confirmation of her villainy before the clip ever hit the internet. The act of taking the ball was bad enough, but as witnesses would later claim, she seemed to smirk and make a gesture of defiance as she walked away, a detail that sealed her fate in the court of public opinion. She didn't just take the ball, she seemed to revel in her victory over a child. This was not a simple dispute. It was a public performance of profound selfishness, and the audience, both in the stadium and soon, around the entire world, was ready to deliver its swift and merciless verdict. His father, Drew Feltwell, was cast in a more complex, more nuanced, and ultimately more fascinating role: the conflicted hero. The viral clip did not just capture the event, it captured his internal struggle. The cameras caught his visible hesitation, his pained, nervous smile fading as the reality of the confrontation escalated. It was the look of a man trapped in an impossible and very public parenting dilemma. His decision to ultimately surrender the ball in order to keep the peace instantly and deeply divided the online audience. One camp, the warriors of the comment sections, saw him as weak, a father who failed to adequately stand up for his son. Their posts were filled with righteous indignation. "I would have never given her that ball," and "he taught his son to be a doormat." But another, perhaps more empathetic camp saw him as the only true adult in the situation. They saw a father prioritizing his son's overall experience of the night and his own safety over a public, potentially ugly, and unpredictable confrontation with a volatile stranger. This debate over Drew's actions added a rich layer of complexity to the play. He wasn't a flawless two-dimensional superhero. He was a real person making a difficult judgment call in real time, under immense pressure. His later interviews, where he calmly explained his desire to de-escalate the situation and not ruin the entire night for his son, further solidified his role as a thoughtful, if conflicted, hero. He became the character through which every parent watching could project themselves, asking the universal and ultimately unanswerable question: in that exact moment, what would I have done? The powerful combination of the perfect victim and the relatable, conflicted hero provided the potent emotional fuel needed for the story to explode into a global phenomenon. Once the characters were cast and the emotional stakes were firmly established, the play moved from the local stage of the Miami ballpark to its largest and most chaotic theater, the global internet. The clip, stripped of any nuance and perfectly optimized for maximum outrage, went globally viral within minutes of the broadcast. This is where the modern morality play takes its darkest and most revealing turn. The internet doesn't just watch the drama unfold. It becomes an active and powerful participant, enthusiastically assuming the roles of judge, jury, and, in many disturbing ways, global executioner. The first order of business for this digital court was to officially sentence the villain. The woman was quickly and permanently branded with a name that would follow her forever: Philly's Karen. This name is a powerful and loaded piece of internet shorthand, instantly connecting her to a whole lineage of previously judged viral villains and imbuing her actions with a weight and cultural significance far beyond a simple ballpark dispute. With the sentence publicly passed, the investigation and punishment phase began. Online sleuths, from TikTok to Reddit to obscure Facebook groups, launched a massive, crowdsourced, and often terrifying witch hunt to unmask her. They meticulously combed through screenshots, analyzed blurry crowd shots, and cross-referenced social media profiles, all in a relentless attempt to find her real name, her employer, and her hometown. This phase of the play is where the inevitable collateral damage always occurs. At least two innocent women, who had the misfortune of vaguely resembling the woman in the clip, were incorrectly identified, and their photos and personal information were spread across the internet. They were forced to go online and publicly defend themselves, pleading with the digital mob to prove their innocence in a court they never asked to be a part of. This is a key and terrifying feature of internet justice. It is swift, it is merciless, and it is notoriously and dangerously inaccurate. The mob, in its righteous and self assured fury, often harms the innocent in its obsessive quest to punish the guilty. Meanwhile, the real woman at the center of the storm remained silent, a decision that only fueled the fire. In the digital age, silence is almost always interpreted as a tacit admission of guilt, and her refusal to participate in her own public trial only made the Internet's judgment more absolute, more ferocious, and more determined. Just when it seemed that the public shaming and the ongoing witch hunt would be the final grim act of the play, the story took a surreal and uniquely modern turn with the dramatic intervention of the corporate gods. Seeing a viral story with a clear hero, a clear victim, and a clear villain, several powerful corporations and sports teams descended from on high to restore a sense of moral order, all while generating incredible positive PR for themselves in the process. This is the final bizarre act of the modern morality play, the complete and total commodification of justice and redemption. First, the baseball teams themselves, the Philadelphia Phillies and the Miami Marlins, stepped in to perform damage control and align themselves with the heroes. They provided Lincoln with a large bag of team merchandise and, most importantly, arranged a post-game meeting with the home run hitter, Harrison Bader, who gifted him a personally signed bat. This was the first act of public narrative restoration, a savvy public relations move designed to fix the injustice and create a new, happy, and highly shareable ending for the viral clip. And so the final curtain falls on our uniquely modern morality play. The final scene is one of stark, almost unbelievable contrasts. The innocent victim and the conflicted hero, Lincoln and Drew Feltwell, are rewarded beyond their wildest dreams. They didn't just get the ball back, they got a signed bat, a trip to the World Series, and a brand new recreational vehicle. Their small, fleeting moment of public misfortune and humiliation was converted by the alchemy of the internet into a massive, tangible material gain. The villain, the still unidentified Phillies Karen, is left with a permanent and indelible digital stain on her reputation, a viral legacy of public shame, and a bizarre public offer to purchase her own apology. This is the strange, unsettling, and often grotesque nature of internet justice. It is swift, it is wildly disproportionate, and it is now deeply and inextricably intertwined with corporate opportunism. The play provides a satisfying, almost fairy tale like ending, where good is rewarded and evil is punished, which is precisely why it was so popular. But it forces us to ask deeply uncomfortable questions. Was the woman's global public shaming and the terrifying witch hunt a proportionate and just response to her selfish actions? Did the corporations intervene out of a genuine sense of moral duty or out of a savvy and cynical understanding of viral marketing? And what lesson do we, the global audience, actually take away from this? That bad behavior can inadvertently lead to a massive and disproportionate reward for the victim, and that our collective outrage is a powerful but also dangerous, chaotic, and easily manipulated force. The play is over and the actors have left the stage, but the troubling questions about our own role as the global audience and our insatiable thirst for these public spectacles of justice linger long after the final applause.